All right, welcome. We'll let the bell call us into a little more settled place to begin our time together today. One thing that sound of the bell reminds us of, or is an example of, is the fact of impermanence, that nothing is fixed, everything is always in flux. And that's one thing we're aware of as we meditate, is the constantly changing nature of existence, and that no matter how wonderful or how horrible or how neutral, and neither, anything is, it is in a state of change. And this is the dynamism of being alive. This is not necessarily bad news. It's just the nature of things. It's in the nature of things to arise, stay for a little while, and then fade or change. And so we can hear this just in the sound of a bell. So when you hear the sound that I'm about to make, just listen as it begins and then changes. You may not be able to hear it so well. From where I'm sitting, it's still ringing. Fading, fading, and it ceases. So I know that online it can be difficult to hear that. It doesn't always come across in the recording, the sound of the bells, but you can spend any amount of time you would like today sitting and listening to sound, or watching the thoughts in your mind, or feeling the sensations in your body from the perspective of staying attentive, attending to that object and watching it change. It's very easy to get stressed out when we believe that we're stuck, that nothing can change, that whatever is happening now is going to happen again over and over and over again. And, you know, there certainly is a long duration to certain things, but then it can seem, you know, like this whole pandemic can seem like it's never going to end. And I think that the impermanence and the uncertainty of existence is actually not a problem. But it's helpful to begin to notice how we make it a problem in our lives, or the futility of trying to set things up without keeping impermanence in mind, and then having the expectation that things are going to go a certain way when they don't. So it's a much bigger subject than this. It's one of the marks of existence, according to Buddhism. So it's rather basic and rather large topic, but it's just interesting it's really interesting to take some time in meditation, and even in just informally throughout the day, pausing and noticing. You know, the next time you're appreciating a beautiful sunset, one of the things you really appreciate about something beautiful like that is the fact that it's not permanent. The sky's not going to stay like that. And, oh, we want to catch this. Well, we can. I want to be here to see this beautiful sunset and the changing colors, and then night. So if we could bring that attitude to everything in our lives, I think we'd be a little bit happier. So you can play with that today. See what happens when you just notice, just take in, something's changing. The light has changed in the room, or I've eaten now, and my sensation in my belly is different than it was before I ate. The constant changes that are happening, taking those in. And so as we settle in for a time of practice, we're going to be focusing on the breath today, but as an anchor for awareness. But the interesting thing about keeping our awareness on the breath is what we're really going to be training ourselves to do is to notice all the subtleties, all the differences. And you begin to realize that breathing is not just, like a breathing machine in a clinic or a hospital. It's not mechanical like a clock, tick tock, breathe in, breathe out. There's a rhythm, but it's a constantly changing rhythm. Like, one of my favorite analogies is like sitting at the ocean and watching the waves come to shore. Not all the waves are the same size, have the same force, break in the same way. So our breathing is like those waves. And so that's where it gets interesting, to kind of see and feel this constant, reliable breathing that's going on in us, but turning toward it as something that can teach us, something that can show us impermanence and change, and learn to be okay with it, because that's how things are in nature. This is the way that it is. So if you're not already, sit in a comfortable way. Do whatever you need to do right now to find the support you need to sit upright, not with a lot of holding or effort on your part. So where can you sit that's relaxed and supportive enough that you don't have to slump over, be leaning to one side? We want to kind of bring our bodies into a sort of dignified alignment. And before we settle in for guided meditation, if anybody's here in the Way Opens community page on Facebook, it would be lovely to get a thumbs up or a hello. And when we're finished, you will see in the thread below on the Facebook page a way that you can make a donation to support the mindful meetups and the work in general of Way Opens Wellness. Talking about uncertainty and constant change, it's been a rough year for single entrepreneurs. So whatever you feel moved to give is always, always helpful. So again, just settling in. And it can be helpful to close the eyes, because closing off that visual input supports the inner vision, supports us in turning inward. And you might want to take 2 or 3 full breaths in and out as an assist for the settling process in the body. And then let the breath return to its own natural pace. And this is also a good time to check the attitude in the mind right at the beginning of a sit. So what's the state of things in the mind? Is there a lot of mental activity, a kind of restlessness or proliferation of lots of thinking, lots of thoughts? Does the mind feel sluggish and sleepy? Are you aware of any agenda for this time of practice, which is different than intention? You might set an intention to do your best to stay with the practice. But an agenda or an expectation is, I'm going to push away all the negative thoughts and only feel peace in my body. That's not realistic. And it's actually not what we're interested in anyway. We're not here to manufacture any state of being, to get more of something and less of something else. We're literally here to pause, let our system calm and reset, and just be willing to be with things as they are. This is how we train in clear seeing. So dropping any desire for a particular outcome and opening to be curious about this body sitting right now. Feeling sensations in the feet as they rest on the floor, or perhaps are tucked underneath you if you're sitting cross-legged. Feeling the support of the seat you've taken, perhaps at the backs of the thighs and at the base of the pelvis. There's a little pressure here where the weight of the body meets the support of the seat. And from this platform of support, feeling our way into the lengthening spine, this uprightness that is inherent in the body, how we're designed. Long lengthening spine rising up, everything else from the hips to the head just organizing itself around that central spinal column. And inviting ease into the shoulders and the neck, the face, the hands and the arms. Feeling this wonderful combination of resting and awakening. And while you're tuning in to the sensations and the energy in the body, you might be aware of sounds in the room, in the background, in the environment. You might be aware of thinking or feelings, emotions, a mood state that's present, and not to push any of it away or make it bad and wrong, but just keeping it in the background. Letting the attention be primarily on sensations in the body as you sit. You might not even know exactly what you're feeling. There could be pain or discomfort, there could be ease, there could be blank spots. There might be tingling or pressure, temperature, moisture or dryness. Pulsing. And as you rest the attention on the body, simply sitting and feeling the body sitting, you may become aware of this body breathing. Breathing is happening. We don't need to choose to breathe in and out. It's a very strong reflex, very strong combination of reflexes, to be precise. But just like the wind happens without our needing to direct it, you could still see the effects of the wind. You can feel the effects of the wind. And so the breath is like this. You can feel how it's moving in your body right now. It's moving at the nose, right at the tip of the nose where the air comes in through the nostrils. And then on the out breath, it flows back out again. You can feel the effects of the breathing body at your shoulders, in your chest and your upper back. Feeling a little lift, a little rise or expansion in the ribs and shoulders on the in-breath. And then releasing back down again as you breathe out. You can feel the effects of the breath in your belly. The belly that moves to make space for the expanding diaphragm and ribs. So we're not breathing into the belly, that would be a bad thing. But we are feeling the effects of the breath at the belly. And so resting the attention anywhere you can, anywhere you'd like in the body that helps you stay with the continuous breathing in and breathing out. Something that's already happening and we're just turning toward it with our attention. And notice, are you trying to help your body breathe? It doesn't need your help. Are you holding or pushing? See if you can completely let go around the simple experience of your own body breathing. And you may begin to notice certain things about breathing that perhaps you hadn't been aware of before. Like at the end of an in-breath, there's a little pause. And then the body breathes out. At the end of the out-breath, again, a little pause. And then the body spontaneously breathes in again. Some breaths are long and smooth, others are shorter and more shallow. And just being willing to feel however it is. And if moving the attention very specifically into some place in the body is causing more tension, more strain, and just expand the attention out to include the whole body, just the field of your whole body, with breathing at the center, breathing as just one of the sensations. And now just letting go of any particular focus at all. Just being here, sitting easily. And receiving the sound of the bells. and the sound of my cat. A lovely mindfulness bell that I live with. So just noticing as the formal practice comes to a close and we're getting ready to end our time together, just notice how things feel for you right now. Any changes that you noticed since you began. Everything is always changing. So it's likely that in your body, in your mind, in your heart, or even just in the room you're sitting in, things have changed since 12 o'clock. For the rest of the day, see if you can stay interested in the way things are always changing. And notice if it makes you feel anxious, whether you can let go and accept that this is the nature of things. And it only means that you're alive. Thanks for your practice today.